Today I'm dancing because you're here. You're back in the studio. Orlando Sanchez, welcome to TLC Live. And welcome everybody to TLC Live as every Wednesday at 11 in the morning, más o menos. No, today we are on time.
We are on time, and you were on time. I lost my bet.
I
I
know.
thought you would be here closer to the top of the hour, and she shows up just in time.
Don't judge me because
I
I'm
lost my bet.
Colombian and always Colombian time is a little bit late.
Well, anyway, the good news is I am back in Texas and in Houston, and I asked Andrea if she missed me. She said she actually did. So
I miss you a lot, but you said, did you miss me enough to go to Montana? I said, no, I love you, but not that much.
Yeah, she won't come visit. But anyway, hey, it's great to be back. We have a very good show today. We only have one guest, but we're going to talk about education, which we believe is very important for the future of our country, not only for the future of our children, but for the future of our country. Education is critical.
It's a key.
It's absolutely essential.
Is a key. So we're gonna play a video for you guys to have, a little bit of a taste of what is this show is gonna be about it. And
we've made a little production change. So I think.
Oh, we did?
Yeah.
Oh,
so,
okay.
Yeah, but we're gonna.
But that was before I came here.
First of all, we're gonna talk about because. Let me give my opinion early on, because all this whole...
I thought the opinion is going to be at the end of the show, no?
No, I'll throw it in here and there. But look, I'm just getting sick of the left and in this country trying to divide us. And, I want to urge everybody, and I remind everybody, we're both immigrants from Latin American countries. We're going to have a guest today whose parents are from foreign countries as well. And you know what we all have in common? We love the United States of America. We love this country. We love its values. We love what it represents. We love its people. And regardless of race, regardless of ethnicity, regardless of their orientation, if they're United States citizens, we're together. We're in this together. And I always remind everybody in this age of partisan hate and division that when you go to Arlington National Cemetery, you're going to see crescent moons, you're going to see stars of David, you're going to see Christian crosses, you'll see non-denominational headstones. These are all United States citizens that have fought for us in numerous wars to preserve and defend the great Constitution that we all live under. And that essentially is America, and that is why we are the envy of the world. And let's not lose sight of that. That's why everybody wants to immigrate here. That's why everybody wants to come here. We wish we could accommodate everyone. We can't, because our economy can't sustain the entire global population. But it is still a great country, and I want you guys to focus on that. And don't let those trying to divide us succeed. So let's stick together. We may have different political opinions, but we all live under one flag, right?
Definitely. I love this country, and I was talking to our guest on the phone like 2 days ago, and I was telling her that I feel so privileged, so honored that I had the opportunity to come to this country, not only to live in this country, work in this country, but raise a family, have my kids. And my kids, I have a really good kids, Orlando, and they speak both languages, English and Spanish, and they always tell me, Mommy, thank you, thank you, thank you. We cannot thank you enough for you to come here and to have us here. We love Colombia, but definitely this country is the best country in the world.
Yeah, so today we're going to focus a little bit on a couple of issues, and it all has to do with the divisions in America and what the left, because folks, let's understand, there are literally people that do hate the United States and want to destroy this wonderful democracy, this constitutional government we live under. And there are many, many, many of us that come from different parts of the world that value the United States of America. And so we pick up the pitchforks, we pick up the shovels, and we'll go fight for the United States. And our guest is going to personify that. But before we get into that, there are also educational overtones in our show today. And when we started off talking to Andrea, we talked about the importance of education. Andrea agreed with me, as she always does, that education is critical. Absolutely critical. And I don't care if you live in an urban area of America, if you're in the boroughs near Manhattan, if you're in Houston, Texas, if you're in Dallas, Texas, if you're in Oakland, California, or Kansas City, Missouri, every child deserves an excellent education. And education is critical. And having said that, I'm a fan of an old television program called Firing Line. And Firing Line has a new host by the name of Margaret Hoover. This program is aired on PBS. And Margaret Hoover, a few weeks ago, had Admiral Bill McRaven on the program. Now, you may not remember the name Bill McRaven, but he is a 34-year Navy SEAL who headed up the operations to find Osama bin Laden and a number of other terrorists around the world. And he was also the chancellor of the University of Texas here in Austin, Texas. But Margaret Hoover on Firing Line asked Admiral McRaven, what is the biggest national security threat that we face in the United States? And I'm going to ask our excellent producer to roll that video.
What is the most serious national security threat that President Biden will face in the next few years?
K through 12 education. You know, I get asked that question a lot. And people always think I'm going to say, well, it's North Korea, or it's Iran, or it's Russia, or it's China. But I honestly believe it's K through 12 education. A lot of times people don't think of education as a national security issue. I would say it's the #1 national security issue because we've got to build the next generation of national security experts.
Wow.
And there you have it.
Wow.
I wholeheartedly agree with Admiral McRaven that the biggest threat facing the United States of America is our education system.
It's here.
And
it's inside.
And the left and the socialists, the Marxists, the communists understand that. And they have managed, and it's just not the communists, not just the socialists, not just the left, but there are a lot of forces that are playing upon education. And we'll go back to the theme that I developed early on, that they're trying to divide us, Andrea. Mm-hmm. They're trying to divide the African Americans from the Caucasians, from the women, and you know, the gender. It's a disaster. Rather than working together as Americans, which we have a history of doing. Yes, we've made mistakes in the past, and it's okay to teach real history. But this whole thing about the woke society and the critical race theory, we're going to develop a little bit about that today. So our guest today got involved because I think she began to fear this indoctrination, not the education, the indoctrination of her children as a taxpayer up around New York. And so I'm going to let Andrea introduce our guest.
I want to play the video first before we introduce our guest, because it's a powerful, powerful speech that she gave in front of the board members of the school district. So let's, Mark, please roll the video.
Good evening. My name is Tatiana Ibrahim, and I'm here for the first time. I'm here tonight not only as a community member, but as a parent in this district. Recently, you sent out a survey wanting to know why parents were not voting yes for this budget. So my situation, my vote for no is a little different. I think the Board of Education and those sitting on the panels are thieves. I think they're liars and have committed treason against our children. My message to this district and the members of the Board of Ed: stop indoctrinating our children. Stop teaching our children to hate the police. Stop teaching our children that if they don't agree with the LGBT community, that they're homophobic. You have no idea each child's life. You don't know what their family lifestyle consists of. You don't know the makeup of their life. You have children like mine who is Muslim, and I'm Christian, and everyone would think, they would never believe that of her, right? Because the way she looks, or according to Miss Cyrus, she's too pasty white. You created a curriculum of Black Panther indoctrination
Ma'am,
You use taxpayers'
can I
dollars.
ask you one more time? I have no issue hearing what you have to say, but
Why can we not let the public speak? Why can't we let the public know that you're teaching our children to go out and murder our police officers?
That
Do
is
you
not-
want the proof? I have the proof. Is that what scares you, the proof? That a parent actually standing up against all of you? Is that what scares you, to call out the names of these people? You work for me. I don't work for you. You have a duty. We are entrusting our children to you. We teach our children morals, values when they grow up to commit crimes and end up in prison and kill a police officer. It's our fault? No, it's your fault. You're emotionally abusing our children and mentally abusing them. You're demoralizing them by teaching them communist values. This is still America, ma'am. And as long as I'm standing here on this good ground earth of God, I will fight. And this is not the last of me you will see. I'm retired. I have nothing else better to do.
I have no problem having a peaceful discussion. This is not a peaceful discussion.
No, that's your opinion. See, here we go again. This is peaceful. To me, this is peaceful.
Well,
I'm not burning, looting, and murdering. This is peaceful.
I did not accuse you of that, but I don't have a problem having a conversation with you, a peaceful conversation, which is, this is not.
$6.95 per child in the middle school to buy a curriculum from readtome.org that wasn't even approved by the Board of Ed. The administrators took it upon themselves to buy these books with taxpayer dollars while COVID is going on. How many families are struggling to pay their mortgages? Listen, by all means, you want to teach kids these things, fine. Don't do it on my dollar. Don't infringe on my religious beliefs. Don't infringe. Do you know who makes up the majority of this district? Children from police officers' families. Blues. Back the blue children. Do you know what these children feel like when they come home? Have you spoken to them? No. You're silencing them. This whole cancel culture, you're silencing the children. Where are their rights? They have no rights. Because if they don't believe in the indoctrination, the demonic, twisted, sneaky, vile acts and education, if you call it that you're teaching our children, they don't agree with that. They're either homophobic, they're part of a cult, they're racist. What's racist? Who defines racist? Why? Because do you know what race I am?
Oh my God.
Unbelievable. And no teleprompter.
Se me pararon los pelos.
She's amazing.
Diríamos en español.
So,
Wow.
all the way from Florida, because she is a resident of New York and a taxpayer of New
Yeah,
York. But we
she's-
have Tatiana on the show. So, Tatiana,
Tatiana
welcome.
Ibrahim, welcome. Oh my God.
Hi guys, how are you?
That's amazing. And I understand now why that video went viral. It was amazing.
Tatiana, I want to say I've been in politics for 25 years. I mean, I started my career back in 1992. And I got to tell you, that's one of the most powerful political statements I've ever seen a constituent, a taxpayer, make to a body of elected officials. And the idea that the school board member would tell you that you can't use a name is beyond the pale. And the fact of the matter that she accused you of being violent, of not having a civil discussion. I saw people sitting there quietly listening to you, very attentive. I mean, these people are out to lunch. They take your tax money, they indoctrinate your children, and they don't expect you to come and hold them accountable.
That's correct. So that's what they do best. These are people working with the radical lefts. They are, trying to silence us. What they do is when you don't agree with them, they go on social media, they try to ruin you, they try to silence you, they try to put fear into you. And that's not going to work with me. It's not, because it's not a game. This is war. It is war, and it is a war against evil. It is a war against communists, and it is a war against Marxism. And if we do not fight and win this war, we're going to lose our children. And I'm not going to let that happen. I don't care what they say, what they do. My child, your child, Andrea's child, and all these children out here, they will be saved. And we as the parents will do it. We will save them. You know, the left have this idea. They have, their heart is filled with so much hate and so much blackness that they can literally sit there and lie to a parent. They can lie to a taxpayer. They can lie to a concerned citizen and say they don't have critical race theories in the school. They're not teaching that. Well, you know what? They're insulting our intelligence when they tell us that, because we know, we all know that they are the liars and they are the devil. This is the devil within our school. And if we don't stop it and we don't get rid of them, they are going to corrupt and poison our children, and more than not only mentally, but emotionally. And they're going to make our children grow up to hate one another based on ethnicity, race, religion. I mean, that is disgraceful. That is not what America is about. And I'm not going to stand by and watch that happen. I will not.
And Tatiana, you come from a multi-denominational background. Is that correct?
Yes.
I mean, I
Yes.
think you're, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but as you said at the podium at the school board meeting, I think you said you're Christian, and I think you said some members of your family are Muslim, and I think there's some Albanians, Italians, Iranians in your family.
Spanish, and
And
Spanish.
yeah, and and they want to tear us apart. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, I am so proud of you. I mean,
Thank
I
you.
just think that was one of the best political statements and heartfelt statements that a taxpayer has made to a body of elected officials. And I think that video needs to be shared around the world because that makes people proud.
Thank you. Thank you. I mean, you know, my son, who was murdered 5 years ago, was half Puerto Rican. His father, from what I understand, did pass away also, his biological father. My husband is Muslim Albanian. My daughter and my son were taught both religions and had decided, we had left that decision to them to decide where they wanted to go with their religion. My daughter chose Islam. My son had chosen, Christianity. My mother is, from Iran, raised in Italy. My father, Italian, raised in France and Belgium. So we are a large, and this is what I'm saying. We have the left radicals sitting here telling us, whether we're black or white, Hispanic, or whatever we may be, telling us how to think, how to feel. Well, that sounds like slavery to me. When you're telling a black child he can't succeed because his skin color, that sounds like slavery to me. When you're telling my daughter she's too white and, she should feel bad for that, well, that's just slavery and communism to me. I mean, this has gotten so out of control, and it's not just in my district, because the investigations and the foils, the forensic foils that we have been doing and working on, it's coming up everywhere. It is a national thing. You do not find it so much down in the South, and this is one thing I have to say to all the Southern folks down in here in Florida and Georgia and the Carolinas and Mississippi. God bless you in Texas. You guys are my heroes. The way I see you fighting and the way I see the love and compassion that, that you guys all have for one another, regardless of color or ethnicity, religion, it just makes me fight so much harder, because we are a mess up north. We really are. And we need to get it together, because you can't keep running, and if you go south, don't bring your liberal views, because they're not going to tolerate that down here. So keep it up north, or get it together, because exactly, don't bring that down here. These are hardworking, loving folks, and they open their door to anyone. They really do. And they're fighting with me. I mean, I've met so many amazing mothers here down south, and they recognized me and who I am, and but if it weren't for the people of this country, we wouldn't have been able to come as far. We're national now. We've joined, groups with Moms of Liberty, another fantastic organization that needs to be checked out. Wonderful women in Long Island that are just powerful moms fighting for our kids. So there's hope. We do have a big announcement coming soon. I'm not going to give dates, but we're going to Washington, D.C. Mothers of America United, we will take our children back. The schools want to control our children. We have guidance counselors taking our children into the offices, questioning their sexuality, questioning their sexual preference. That's illegal. They're trying to control the minds of our children to hate us, to question, and all we want is that nuclear moral, we're trying to teach those morals to our children. So if you don't believe in what they believe in, we're bad parents or we don't have morals, but we do. They're the ones that don't. Because, like I said in my speech, and I will stand by it, the radical liberal left are recruiting our children, and I see it at the Board of Ed meetings. I saw it in my district. They recruit children. They pay people, and they recruit children to come to these Board of Ed meetings to bash anyone who opposes this racist, demonic teaching, Marxist, communist ways that they're teaching our children. And they bash us. But parents need to stand up. They need to stand strong. You must stay united. I don't care color, race, where you come from. We are all Americans. We need to stay united in order to win this war.
Wholeheartedly agree.
Tatiana, you're not only making a difference with this powerful speech, but also you were telling me about that you were collecting signatures for the budget. So tell us a little bit about that.
So we have quite a few petitions out nationally. We have chapter leader mothers that are taking over their districts in each different states. These petitions are asking parents to, one, to end critical race theory on a government federal level, because this is where it's coming from. It's coming from the Biden administration, the fake regime that is up there right now, the treason that they are committing against America is disgusting. The parents are gathering signatures to end CRT, gathering signatures for vouchers. What that means is the monies that you pay into the school taxes will follow your child. So you will have that option to pay for whatever school your child goes to. You shouldn't have to pay taxes and then dig into your school taxes and then dig into your pocket even further to pay a private school, because those educators that you are paying are failing your children. And we are doing it also to end this mandated poison, this vaccine. That should be pro-choice. You have no right to put any lethal poison or anything that we don't know about into our children. We are the parents, not the educators, not the schools. They have no rights. And the government has no right to tell any parent what should go in their child or not. Okay, that's going to stop. There's too much government interference. There's too much treason going on. There's too much control. We are losing rights as parents, and we cannot allow that. And I won't.
I want to go back to the CRT that you're mentioning, which, for those that don't know the acronym, it's critical race theory. And as I understand, this comes from the ivory towers of major universities and colleges, probably from the East Coast, as you say. And here's my question, because I have lived in the South since 1962, and I'm a fan of teaching real history.
That's correct.
Real history, the way it happened.
They're not.
Don't sway it one way or the other. But one of the complaints that I hear in public education is that for a long time the real history wasn't told. And so and I'm going to argue perhaps, and I may not get this right, the African American perspective, the real story of how African Americans were treated in the poll taxes and the inability to participate in the constitutional type of government up until the 1950s is true. The way Mexican Americans in Texas were treated was not very good. Those stories aren't told. The fact that Mexicans in 1813 declared Texas as independent from Mexico, that story isn't told. So the contributions of Mexicans, the woes, the trials and tribulations of African Americans in the South, that is true. And I think, I don't know if you agree with me, we have to be sensitive to that and teach the real history. Am I right or wrong?
Well, you're absolutely right. But the problem is, like you said, it's not being taught. So a lot of folks that don't understand critical race theory, or those that are in denial, are saying that we are keeping the educators, the school system, from teaching history. Well, here's the problem. Transgenderness is not history. That one doesn't belong in the school system. Whether a child's gay or straight is no concern to a teacher and educator. That's between a child and its family. Our history is being taught in the way that they want to create it. They glorify the evils that have occurred, such as Black Panthers. We know they're evil. They are domestic terrorist group, but they're not explaining the truth behind Black Panthers, who they were, what they did. When we talk about slavery, did slavery happen in the United States? Absolutely. Was it a horrible thing? Absolutely. It was a horrible thing. But do you explain how we fought and we with every ounce in us to end slavery? Do you speak about our Black successful folks, those that can, for goodness sakes, they want history. They're tearing down statues.
Yeah, and
They're taking
and
Aunt
you're
Jemima
right.
off.
You're
They're
right.
taking Aunt, yeah.
Yeah, the fact that they don't mention that Caucasians fought alongside with blacks in the 1960s for
That's
civil
correct.
rights and were actually
That's
murdered
correct.
in Mississippi and Alabama and firebombed.
That's
I mean,
right.
the struggle to live under the Constitution was not just a black struggle. It was an American struggle.
It's an American struggle.
It was a
Right.
struggle for equality, which I don't know of any conservative that doesn't agree with that. I mean, as conservatives, we believe that everyone has the right to live under the Constitution.
That's
If we're
right.
a United States citizen, my God, if I don't protect Andrea's right to live under the Constitution, then anybody can be denied a constitutional right. So I'm proud of the civil rights movement. I'm proud of
That's
what
right.
America accomplished. But for God's sake, teach the truth. And as Tatiana says, don't twist it. You know,
No, they twisted it.
don't make
They're twisting it.
yeah, don't make society hate Columbus because he was Caucasian from Portugal, or the Spaniards, you know, who probably didn't do things right when they were conquering as empires do, you know, what happened
Right.
to the indigenous people of the Americas. We get it. That's true history. And was there an injustice? Absolutely. Teach that. That's the real history. But don't teach kids today in the 21st century to hate me because of my Spanish heritage and what happened in the Americas because I'm of Caucasian, you know, European descent. That's not fair, and that's indoctrination, right?
That is indoctrination, and what they're doing, it's Marxism and it's communism, and
Correct.
that's what they're doing. Instead of going forward, they're going backwards. Everything we fought for, everything that we've accomplished so far. How dare? Here's the thing: how dare a white liberal left radical tell anyone other than another white person how to think, how to feel? I would be insulted. I really need people to really look at themselves in the mirror and wake up and understand that America gives you so much opportunity, and what you do with it is up to you. But do not let other people tell you that you cannot succeed or you cannot be something in this world because of the way you look. That's absurd. That is insanity. And that's got to stop. And it's going to stop because people are going to rise up and start looking and seeing, you know what? I have every right under this Constitution to succeed. And I'm going to do it. It is their God-given right to do that. So,
Tatiana, tell us what was the impact after that powerful speech. I mean, what was the feedback from the parents? What was the feedback from the board members and the teachers over there in Carmelo ISD?
So the Board of Ed members that night after the meeting had promised me a meeting the next day when I had gone over to them that evening after the meeting and presented the evidence. Anytime I say something, I'm going to have the evidence in my hand. They took the evidence. They never called me for a meeting. You know when they called me? A week and a half ago, the assistant superintendent asked me if I wanted a meeting with her. I told her she needed to call the lawyers because I have nothing to say to them. It's done. They should have done that when we were going there trying to seek help and to try to get help from them. The community, I've had a great amount of support. So many parents from the schools, more so from the middle schools and elementary, because this is where it's really starting. They're trying to catch our children while they're young. Who did that? Hitler, Stalin. That's what they do. They get them from when they're young. And then it just, the day, 2 days later, I just started getting all these people trying to, I guess they were trying to find my private email or my cell number, even my cell number. They were calling me, texting me. And that's when I got with Moms of Liberty. And, we just said, we have to do this. And we just grew and grew and grew. I mean, Moms of Liberty's already been a great group, but Parents of Critical Race Theory is what we have. We just grew. And now we have parents even from Venezuela. I have parents from Cuba. Oh my, I love it. Parents from Colombia. And what's more heartbreaking than anything? When you have Cubans that are still in Cuba or Venezuela or Colombia telling me, Tatiana, please fight. Do not let America, we see this. This is what was happening to our country. It started from small, and this is what happened. Please, we ask you, fight. How can you not, when someone from a foreign country who understands communism, like my husband, like my parents, how can you not in your heart want to stop this? You have to, because they have a right to come here too and live the American dream. And here we are, born in America. I'm so blessed. I was born in the greatest country in the world, and I have to sit here and watch the newer generation or people my age bashing it, burning flags, calling this country racism. Have you been to some countries in this world? Do you understand what racism is? They have no idea in what racism is. Go to some countries where you can't even walk in if you're Christian, let alone Black or Spanish, right?
Or if you're a woman, drive an automobile.
Or you can drive. Exactly. They have no idea the rights as women. We have so many rights. We have more rights than men, I think.
Tatiana, I want to share with our viewers. This is why we wanted you on the program today. It is so critical that everybody gets excited about voting for president every 4 years, and I tell people, you guys are missing the boat. The most important election is your city council representative, your alderman, your county commissioner, your school board members. Those are the most important positions, because that's where everyday life occurs. Who picks up your garbage? Who pays your police officers? Who's the EMS that's responding to you? Who are the teachers, and who are they being paid for? And how are they being infiltrated? And how are they changing the minds of your children? That's your local school board. And to me, what you've done is a patriotic thing. And here's another thing I want to mention to you. And I don't know, having visited down in the South now and being down in Florida, I think the liberal left, and particularly the Democrats in Texas and the Democrats nationally, have misread the Mexican-American, Hispanic, Latino community of Texas. Because at the end of the day, I can tell you that there is nobody more patriotic than a Texan of Mexican-American descent.
Absolutely.
And
Amen.
the liberals
Absolutely.
are scratching their heads trying to figure out why the Texas border, from Maverick County, Valverde County, DeMitt County, Hidalgo County, Cameron County, they were all going to the Republican side, is because you can't find a more patriotic group of people than long-term generational Mexican Americans in
That's
Texas.
right.
And they're shocked.
Amen.
They don't get it because they're freedom-loving people that have a history of fighting for liberty and freedom and the United States of America and a constitutional government. And just like you, a threat to that system of government is not only a threat to them directly, but it's a threat to their children and grandchildren.
And don't people see when the left, like you just said, the left are shocked. They can't. Doesn't that make the left racist and discriminating? Because someone is Hispanic or Mexican or color, they can't be conservative?
Right.
Aren't they? Those are the racists. I mean, you're telling a black person, a Spanish person, you can't love Trump, or you can't love the Constitution, you can't love freedom. Well, who's the racist now? Them. Because we love people. We love our Constitution. We love God, and we love country, and we love our children. Obviously, they don't, because they keep proving it every day. Yeah.
Tatiana, you were born in this country. How do you see, you went to school in this country? I didn't. I came to this country in 1997. I already I got my education in Colombia. But, being born in this country and educate yourself here in this country, you can see the difference between back in that time when you went to school and now that your kids are going to school. So tell us, give us a perspective of that.
It's tragic. It's tragic what is happening. When we went to school, it was math, English, social studies, the real history, the Civil War, the Revolutionary War. There is a difference. If you ask some people, they don't know that. Kids today think the Civil War and Revolutionary War is the same thing. It was very different. We were taught that if you had a problem, you speak with your parents. You don't go against your parents. We were taught values. We were taught that, we respected one another. It was not tolerate one another. It was respecting one another. That's the big difference of today. Today, they tell you, you have to accept this and that, but your opinion doesn't matter. When I was growing up, it was taught, if you do not agree, you respect their opinion, respect their views, and you keep it going. And continue to fight for what you believe in. But it's not like that anymore. Now it's, if you don't accept it, if you don't agree to it, it's you're no good. So the education system has changed dramatically.
I want to, Tatiana, I was elected, just to give you a little history, I was the first immigrant Hispanic ever elected citywide in the city of Houston back in 1995 as what they called an at-large council member. But one of the disturbing trends back then, and this is when, it started way before that, because I always tell people, and I know you know about communism because I think you mentioned that your father was from Albania and how the communists, summarily
my
execute
husband.
Your husband, and how
Yeah.
the communists summarily execute those that, speak up against the government.
That's right.
Unless you've lived in a communist country like I have. I lived in Havana, Cuba. I saw the revolution in 1959. And fortunately, my father brought me to America. But, the Marxists, the liberals, the left in this country has a long runway. They're very patient. They look 30, 40 years down the line. How do we start to change the hearts and minds of the young people so that in 20 years we can transform America, the United States of America, the most freedom-loving constitutional government in the world? So they have a long runway. So in 1996, I remember, and this is not related to education, but just to give you how the left thinks and operates. The health department in the city of Houston took the position that they wanted to distribute a contraceptive device called Depo-Provera. I don't know, if men don't know what this is, but it's apparently a patch, and it administers contraception all the time. And the problem is that unless you know the medical history of the young lady, there are serious medical complications like hemorrhaging. The city of Houston wanted to administer Depo-Provera to any young lady age 13 or above, I think was that came into the health clinics without their parents' knowledge or without having any history of the maternal side of the family with respect to hemorrhaging. You talk about government wanting to step in for the parents, and here's another thing I'll tell you. The liberal left in this country has misread the Hispanic world and to some extent the African American world.
Yeah.
We don't want the government allowing our children, cutting mom and dad out, because the thing we value the most, at least in my culture, is la familia, and dad and mom making the decisions. And so that's where the left is failing. But unless people stand up like you have and talk to other parents and other voters and educate them that we're for telling the real history, the way it happened, blemishes and all, but we're not for you indoctrinating our children so that we hate each other, and we're not for government replacing mom and dad. So, people watching this program need to understand that it's more than the school board budget that you opposed. People got to stand up, pick up the pitchforks, and I don't mean what happened at the Capitol where they invaded and damaged property. We're not for that. But we have a right to speak up. We have a right to exercise speech and to assemble. And, I'm just so proud of you for what you've done.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I just want to say I couldn't do this without the American people. And it is because of the American people and even our foreign allies. It is, with their support and love and encouragement, I wouldn't have been able to do this. And I just want the people to know, no matter what the left tried to do to you, because they will, they brought up my deceased son. They smeared him all over the internet. I want you to remember one thing. God is with you. Whatever God or spiritual power you may believe in, you have that strength within you. And take a look at every child that passes you on the street. It doesn't have to be your own flesh and blood. But if you don't fight for their future, if you don't defend them, since they are so, they're defenseless, they're not able to do it themselves, they're depending on us. If we do not do it, no one else will.
Yeah.
And you do not want our children to grow up under communist regime where mother and father are being torn from their children, or your children torn from your arms.
Yeah.
You do not want that.
I want to share something with you real quick, just so you'll know that the forces that you experienced in your home state and in your community with your local school board are the same forces that are acting in Houston, Texas. And Andrea will remember this story, but back in 2019, I held a press conference on private property across from the third largest school district in the United States administration building, the Houston Independent School District. And it has had multiple schools within our district failing students. So my press conference was simple. I was asking the state of Texas and the governor of Texas, Greg Abbott, to once and for all take over the failing schools, because not only are they failing the taxpayers, and not only are they failing the students, but they're failing the future of our state. And Tatiana, you can look it up online. You can just go look at Orlando Sanchez School Board HISD press conference. They physically assaulted me. Mm-hmm. And it's all documented on live television at 5 o'clock in the evening. So the same forces that have infiltrated your school district have also infiltrated the third largest school district in the United States. Because when
they
you
assaulted
confront
us,
them,
me too.
when you confront them, you threaten them, and they will resort to physical violence, just like an unruly group did in Washington, D.C., and assaulted people and ruined private property. As Americans, as law-abiding Americans, none of us support that. We're not going to support it from the left, and we're not going to support it from the right-wing extremists.
That's right.
But by God, I am so delighted that you did not allow your voice to be squelched.
Oh, no, it's just the beginning. I keep saying there's more of me. I'm from the Bronx. Come on now.
and as you said it, as you said it, I'm retired. I don't have anything better to do.
That's it. They could say what they want. They listen. They took pictures of my house. They bashed me. You know what? There's nothing Nothing that can hurt me, because this is for a better of America and our children.
Tatiana, you
And
know what
the
we call
real
that down in Texas?
mm,
A burr in the saddle. You know, if you're riding a horse and you've got a burr in
mm,
your saddle on your behind, you're a real pain in the butt, right?
yep, yep.
She said it on
I,
the speech. She said it on the speech. I'm
I
gonna be your worst nightmare.
That's right. That's right. And with all the support that I have, so the real patriots of this country and our foreign allies, they know the truth. And always look at the source where the negativity is coming from. And that's where you say, you know what? No time. We've got work to do and we've got a war to win. So let's do this, America. Let's get on it and let's keep going.
Well,
We're going to win.
Tatiana, what can we tell other parents, because this disease is not only in your school district,
Right.
it's everywhere in the country, and
Yes, it
we're
is.
facing
Yep.
this in HISD, we're facing this in Texas, everybody's facing this in United
Yeah.
States. And so tell us, you already start something, but you cannot do it by yourself. I mean,
Right.
how can other parents can join this force? How other parents can help your movement, your encourage, your motivation, and to save the children, to save this country?
You have to become the thorn in the left radical liberals' side. You have to demand answers. So what I say is, if you go to the website, we have our petitions out. They can take a copy of it, bring it around your state, get the signatures, attach evidence, whatever evidence you may have. We do have we have a few attorneys working with us from the government. In fact, they are, I'm not going to say their names, but they are working with us. And these are cases that are going to be taken to the highest levels of government that need to be. It's not going to work on a state level, especially states like New York and California when you have a communist governor. It's not going to work. So you have to, you have to. I'm very outspoken. I think you
I'll
know that
say.
by now.
Yeah.
Oh, poor
It's
Cuomo.
not.
Amen.
Oh well, it's not going to work. So you have to take it higher. The Biden administration supports this, so it needs to go higher than him. And there is ways to go higher than him legally and peacefully. So that's what we're doing. Gather the evidence, get the signatures. If you can't get access to the petitions, which I mean you should be able to, but sometimes it's not that easy. Just get a paper, write NCRT, get as many signatures as you can. Send it to us, send it on the website. You can send it, you can email me, you can send it through any social media. Or you can even send me a message. I'll call you. I've done that. I've met a lot of wonderful people. I really don't care. This is what I'm here for. I'm here to help you, and you're helping me. And we have to save our children. Get involved. If a school says we're not teaching critical race theory, you know what? They're lying to you. If they say they have an equity team, they have critical race theory. It's not about teaching history. It's about poisoning our children's minds and dividing them.
Well, and I'm so proud of American moms. I mean, when you need
Yeah, they're
warriors,
great.
Oh my God.
it's
They are
it's those
great.
American moms that stand up for their children,
Yep.
because
They're
that's what they're
tigers.
fighting
That's
for.
right.
They're fighting for their. Folks, this is
They're
about
tigers.
fighting for your kids, and
That's
it's
right.
about fighting for the future. I've gotten my education. I've been able to determine right from wrong, and what type of government I want to live under, and what kind of values I want to fight for. But what Tatiana and mothers across America, regardless of race or ethnicity, are fighting for is the future of their children, their families, and their families' ability to be independent of government and make their own decisions, as Tatiana said to the school board, based on the values of that family, on their religious values, on their personal choices. That's a family decision. But under socialism and communism and the Marxist way of government, no, it's the government that decides for you. So, Tatiana, we're going to cut the program off a few minutes early because I have to go drive to see some friends about 5 hours away in Denton, Texas. I'm looking forward to being with my veteran friends, conservative veteran friends in Denton, Texas. But I want to thank you, first of all, for your leadership, for your passion, for your patriotism, for your commitment to constitutional government, and for wanting to educate our children about the difference between liberty and the poison that is socialism, the left, and communism and Marxism. It still exists. The fight continues, and we have to stay vigilant. So I salute you. I hope that I can meet you personally someday. If
Oh,
you
I would
ever
love
come to
to.
Texas, we'd
Oh,
love to
she
hug
said
you.
she says she wants to come here. She said that she
Yes.
will volunteer. She said that she will do whatever it takes to help also other parents here
Yes,
in
I will
Texas.
volunteer anything you need. Absolutely.
All
Yes, I
right.
would
Well,
love to.
Godspeed. It was a pleasure meeting you,
God,
and I'm going to
thank
turn it
you.
over to
Amen.
Andrea.
God bless.
Thank you
Thank you.
so much, Tatiana. Thank you so much. I
Thank
mean,
you,
I'm
Andrea. Thank
so
you.
honored to have you in the
Oh,
program, and
I'm
so honored.
honored.
I'm so honored that I was able to speak to you on the phone, and we were sharing our thoughts, and we were sharing our love, not only for our kids, but for this country.
Yes,
Gracias. Thank
thank
you
you.
so
You're
much.
beautiful. Thank you. I appreciate you both. God bless you and God bless Texas and everyone in America.
Thank you.
Amen.
All right, we'll see you soon.
Thank you.
All right,
Okay.
well, I'm headed
Amen.
up to Denton, Texas.
Okay.
You're invited to join me if you want to go, but last time I
Thank-
took you on a tour of Texas, you fell asleep in the
Oh
car.
my God, yeah, and I took my son with me, and he also fell asleep. So we are so bad
Yeah.
helping you to drive and being a good
Not even a
companion.
good co-pilot.
No, no, not at all. But well, good luck over there.
Thank you.
And I know you're doing really good. You know, going to different cities in Texas and talking to people, and people are responding because they keep inviting you, and that's very important to go and send the message not only in a TLC live every Wednesday, but also in person, because you know when you see people in person, it's a different feeling and it's a different impact.
And we have a lot of work to do. For example, I'll remind you that we got called in to Kerrville, Texas to help a young man by the name of Roman Garcia, who was a conservative, 18 years old, running for city council and needed some help. We came in along with some other conservative groups across the state into Kerrville, Texas. We helped get him elected. And of course, now we're working with our dear friend in Midland, Texas. We have a candidate we've identified that we want to elect to the Midland City Council, the first Hispanic conservative, the only Hispanic, and that's Dan Corrales, a veteran of the United States Armed Forces, licensed to practice law in New York and Texas, and just a dynamite human being. We're probably going to have him on the show, so we're going to go to Midland. Just this week, I had the honor of meeting another Mexican-American leader from New Mexico. She is the secretary of the Republican Party of New Mexico, Mari Trujillo.
Wow.
She's married to an Italian man, a beautiful family. She's in the healthcare industry. And we're doing some dynamic things in West Texas. So we're going to have this joint meeting out in El Paso, because if Mr. Francis O'Rourke think that he has the Hispanic community fooled into believing his Beto,
Yeah,
right?
uh-huh.
No,
Whatever.
we're gonna go in there and spread the truth about what the left is doing, and we're gonna join forces across the border, across the Texas border into New Mexico, with our friends in New Mexico. So there's a lot of exciting things going on. We just got a call yesterday from Nueces County, which is Corpus Christi. They've got some exciting things going on, and they want our help. So we're going to go down there and help Barbie Baker, who's now the new chairwoman of the Republican Party of Nueces County. And just the other day, we got a call from our dear friend, Freddie Arellano.
Freddie Arellano.
And used to be the chairman, the youngest chairman of the GOP in Maverick County, Eagle Pass, Texas. And he has turned the leadership of the Republican Party to a dear friend of his down in Maverick County. But they've got an exciting event coming up where the governor's going to show up. And so they called us to jump in and help. And so we're going to do that. We're going to work with Adriana Peña down in the Cameron Hidalgo area. We've got Mayra Flores. So, I am... people ask me why I do this, Andrea. My passion is helping these young people that are the next leaders of the state of Texas, and they're going to keep Texas conservative. And I'm just excited. That's what fuels me is the young people.
Well, thank you so much, everybody, for
Ya cállate
watching
la
us.
boca,
Yeah,
dice.
for watching us today. Please go to TexasLatinoConservatives.com, TexasLatinoConservatives.com. Become a member. Help us to help and help us to, keep working because we need your help. We need for you to become a member. It's only $35 a year. Your contribution is gonna make a difference, and if you contribute to our cause, so of course we can continue working, not only doing this show, but also helping the young generation to be a leader in this state and in this country.
Correct. All right. So for our friends up in Denton County, we'll see you in a few hours. Andrea, it's great to be back with you, and looking forward to an exciting show next week. So don't forget to check us out, TexasLatinoConservatives.com. And thanks to Mosier Studios and Mark, our producer, who's done an excellent job. I was telling Mark that we had guests from Colombia, New Jersey, Montana, Houston last week, and he put it all together in a multiplicity of videos. So, I mean, great job, team. And I hope you guys are enjoying the program. Make a donation to the organization if you can, either to the Political Action Committee or to our nonprofit. And we'll see you next week. Godspeed.
Nos vemos el próximo miércoles. Chao, chao.